Hello, this is one tip against every hero with Freya. A few of these heroes have quite basic kits, so some of the tips that I mentioned for Freya are just general tips that you can do with anyone, but I've tried to give unique scenarios for almost every single case, connecting to Freya's kit at least. If you're struggling with Freya or you're just trying to learn a bit more about her, I do have multiple guides out for her, and those can probably help with this video as well, but let's get into it. D.Va. D.Va is one of the characters I ban the most. It's important that you keep your distance with her, similar to how you keep a 15-meter distance against Roadhogs. In case you think he has hook, I want you to keep the same distance with D.Va because she's going to look to fly into your face and you will blow up. Updraft healing helps with this, saving a dash helps with this for when she flies at you, as long as you just keep your distance. Doomfist and Hazard I will be mentioning together for a very similar reason, but you can burst both of these characters down when they're blocking as best as you can. Of course it's a little riskier with Doomfist because he may use that powered punch to kill your team, so especially towards the end of his block, since there's a 1 second delay between the explosion of take aim, hitting and then exploding, if you hit the arrow onto his block at the last second, his block cancels or runs out by the time the explosion damage actually hits him. And a lot of Doomfist players don't use block correctly. They'll put themselves into bad positions where you can just burst them down. They think people won't shoot them just because they're blocking, but you can punish them for it. And it's very similar to Hazard. Now Winston alone is someone you can counter quite well. You can actually burst his bubble down really fast and then it leaves the Winston very vulnerable. That's one major tip. But the problem with Winston comes with any sort of combined dive with him. So against good Winstons or teams that have multiple dive characters including Winston, I would definitely save updraft for when he jump packs towards you and buy updraft healing. Ball is unfortunately someone who you used to counter a lot better. Real ones remember the frost pack that Freya had that slowed down enemies that you hit with your normal crossbow, and this was really useful against characters like Ball because you could slow him down, right? It's very strong. Instead now, unfortunately, the only good counter to Ball is your bowler. Now, since you might be asking when the best time is to bowler a Ball, it's in combination with any kind of hinder ability on your team. The best example I can think of is either Cassidy Nade or Mizuki Chain, but if you have that hinder on the Ball, it slows him down enough for you to easily hit a bowler on him, and it's a slow after slow. So the Mizuki Chain is my favorite to combo with. Mauga and Hog I will class together, but there are little differences between them. These are the two tanks that you should be absolutely spamming. I showcased this properly in my guide, but with the infinite ammo pack that you get as your minor pack, you should be taking aim and then shooting 4 or 5 shots with the rev dual crossbow, and then taking aim again, and then shooting, and then take aim, crossbow, take aim, crossbow. It's an endless spam against two of the largest hitboxes in the game. The only little differences between these two is that you shouldn't peek Mauga when he has cardiac overdrive. Not when he has it, but as soon as he uses it, you hear him do his little scream. With Orisa, it's as simple as, yet again, ult tracking and saving a dash or updraft for her Terra Surge ultimate. But you need to be careful with how you time it, because as you can see in this clip that I demonstrate with my friend, if you pop it at the same time as Orisa uses her Terra Surge, you end up getting no movement at all. Zarya, unfortunately, is the most black and white character here because her kit is just so straightforward. There isn't any direct tips I can give you except for tracking bubbles, which, like I said, can go for everyone. But with Freya especially, she can shut down people and do a ton of burst damage. So if you do see a Zarya use 2 bubbles in a short period of time, you can absolutely spam the hell out of Zarya. Zarya becomes almost useless when she doesn't have her bubbles. Domina actually has an interesting one. Freya relies on chokes quite heavily. Well, not relies, but she capitalizes on chokes quite a lot, hence why maps like King's Row are really good for Freya, because you can just spam down small angles where multiple enemies will be in together, and for whatever reason, when you do create a pocket in Domina's shield to shoot through, it feels like you hit multiple people at once. Everyone seems to funnel or filter through that little pocket of Domina's shield. So with Queen, you want to maintain your distance, similar to D.Va, except Queen can't catch up to you. It's just that she gets no value into you and you can keep outpoking her, similar to how you can as Ashe or Widow, for instance. Although if you do get a little closer to her, because certain maps make it so, save a dash in case she lands a knife on you, because if she lands a knife on you, you're gonna get caught. Ram. Save a dash for his Ravenous Vortex if Ramattra catches you mid-air with his reworked Vortex, which he gets off cooldown now instead of having to wait for his major pack, you're practically immobile and you have 225 HP, he can burst you down alone. With Reinhardt, you can shoot his shield, and if he's walking towards you when he lets go of his shield, the arrows will still hit. This is very similar to someone else who I'll mention later. A lot of Freyas are scared of shooting shields in this game, especially Reinhardt's shield because it has the most health. Sigma. Generally avoid boloing Sigma or around him because he has 3 abilities to counter it. He can shield it, he can use his suck ability, I always forget what it's called, or if your timing is unlucky, he can even rock you out of it. So unless a Sigma has absolutely terrible cooldown management and rotations, just avoid using this ability on him. Now we get into the DPS category. Bastion. Bastion is the easiest target for you in the DPS category to hit. He is gigantic even after the hitbox buff for him. Feel free to just absolutely rain down hell on him, spam all of your abilities, triple combo him, practically guarantees the kill, and he's extremely easy to hit. Just be careful after he gets his minor pack though. If he has his ultimate, he can just use his ult and gain like 300 over health, so that can be a little annoying. Emre. This one's very important. For a few characters, I will mention having ult tracking in your head is going to be a very useful thing. This goes well with Emre. Override Protocol is one of the strongest ultimates in the game right now, and Freja, in my opinion, counters it very heavily. You'll see in many of my videos by now that I will absolutely hold W key into an Emre ult rather than running. But most characters you want to just run and hide or sit in a building because realistically you're going to die to that ultimate. But with Freja, when I know that the Emre has ultimate, I will push up and updraft into his face, and he's just a slow moving monolith in the sky and you can just shut him down very easily. Junkrat is a very easy one. You shouldn't be losing fights to a Junkrat. Use your high ground to your advantage. Save your updraft for him maybe. just spam him from the sky and you will win every time. Mei. When Mei ice blocks, you can time it in your head. She's in there for about 5 seconds. Do a combo onto the ice block itself towards the end so that when she comes out of it, you hit her with 2 or 3 different explosions in a row. Soldier. Be careful of engaging Soldier when he has Biotic Field, since now that you do less damage and you don't 2-shot him in the first place, if you're just out in the open when he's in his Biotic Field and you're trying to combo him, you're going to have to hit 3 different arrows and maybe some crossbow shots to kill him, and by then he will absolutely kill you fast. Symmetra. Another character you don't really struggle against, but Sim TP strats exist. Some teams synergize quite well with it. I've found that spamming the TP wherever she uses it, you can end up hitting multiple people in a row and getting like 800 damage from just 3 bolts. For Torb, it's a relatively simple one, but you don't need many tips to fight Torbjorn players as Freja, I'm sure. You can just 2-shot the Torb turret, so you don't need to spam or do anything else extra. You just do 1 combo on it and it will go on its own. Now we're getting into 2 very complicated characters to fight against as Freja, but I'm gonna try and keep this short. So with Ashe, I like to peek into Ashe as if she will always 2-shot you. You need to pretend that this Ashe is going to 2-shot you. If she hits you with a body shot, you are just 1 bullet away from being killed because she can 2-tap you with a headshot body shot. So I only peek Ashe if I'm completely full HP and I rely on her missing to hit a combo. If she hits the shot, I will immediately hide behind cover. Cover is very important. You shouldn't just go all out and updraft into the sky and let her free shoot and pray that she misses over and over. You only have room to take 1 shot. Same can apply for Cassidy. However, you will probably be a little closer to Cassidy because he plays with less range. So cover is a lot more important. You can jiggle peek because your character is projectile and you can shoot around corners. Or if you do get caught out, I do like to do 1 movement tech a lot of people don't expect with Freja, and that's dash peeking, as I like to call it, where instead of using a dash to just reset your cooldown on take aim, I will use dash purely for movement. Now when it is close range and a Cassidy is chasing me around the corner, this will allow me to dash around the corner fast and shoot him, and sometimes it baits out his hinder nade. Hanzo is another relatively easy one. You shouldn't be losing the fight to Hanzo unless they're really sourced. High ground against Hanzo is always more helpful. If you're gonna peek the Hanzo, just do it with updraft, because Hanzo players, especially good Hanzo players, generally have good crosshair placement. So if you're gonna just strafe left to right, chances are he will hit. But if you're in the sky, it changes things. There's angles that come into play, and it's a lot more difficult for him to hit the shot. Sojourn, don't peek if she has rail. I can't stress this enough. You do actually counter Sojourn quite heavily now because you can just two-shot her, and she's very squishy. You have to watch out for that railgun. Widow, once again, by now, from all of my videos and how I play Freya, you will have seen my updraft trick. You want to use this trick into two-shotting Widow across the map. You counter her. Sure, there are some insanely jobless Widowmaker players out there and they will one-shot you, but you have so much free high ground that you can just gain, and you can peek angles that no other character can peek from as Freya. So if you're going to peek the Widow, don't do it from the ground. Anran. Anran is one of 3 characters that I will get to that you want to save most of your cooldowns for after she uses a certain ability. So you want to bait it out of her. So this ability for Anran is Dancing Blaze. If you combo an Anran and put 2 bolts into her, use your dash, use your updraft, everything, and then she Dancing Blazes, she's now taken those arrows off of her for free and you have no cooldowns left and she can kill you. But if you shoot her with just 1 arrow first and spam crossbows in her face and it's enough damage to make her use her Dancing Blaze, then you're free to updraft, then you're free to combo, then you're free to do whatever you want, and you can track her easily with the VFX or the free kill. This does lead me to the next character that you don't want to spam all your abilities into in one go, and that's Reaper, because he can Wraith. So very similar to what I just said about Anran, you want to just shoot the Reaper once and overall just keep your dash abilities to keep your distance away from Reaper, especially now that he has dire triggers. Genji. Genji players I found almost always deflect after shooting 1 bolt into him. You do your normal combo on many other characters, fine, but if you shoot 1 bolt into Genji, there is this general thing where players just get scared of a Freya bolt landing on them. The sound that it makes, the VFX that it puts onto someone's screen makes them use abilities. This is really important for many characters, but Genji is one of them. If you shoot a Genji with a bolt, chances are he's just going to deflect. So shoot him once, let him use his deflect, and then do absolutely whatever you want to him after that. With Tracer, I would honestly argue going into any sort of aim training workshop code to just practice the blink distance with how she blinks. I know there's a perk that gives her extra blink distance, but no good Tracer will pick that one. The melee is much better. But this is important with Freya because landing 1 bolt on a Tracer immediately makes her use recall because it's literally her whole health. So landing that bolt is crucial, but any decent Tracer player will just dash in your face, and you need to absolutely memorize that blink distance to sort of flick to where she's gonna go. If you're really sourced, you can also just bowl her where she recalls, but Vendetta is another character where you want to save updraft for where she's trying to combo you, particularly when she uses her downward slice or overhead slice, whatever you want to call it, because if she hits the triple combo on you, you're pretty much dead. You just need to watch out for the timing of the updraft, because if she hits you with the downward slice as you updraft, it can cancel it and bring you back down to the ground, and then you're dead because you have nothing to get away with. Venture, the only interesting one I could think of is something you probably won't go for all the time, but it is really fun, and I like to bowler out of digging. Most Venture players do use the full charge of the dig so they can get the maximum damage. You can pre-fire bowler straight at the emerging point of their dig, and it practically guarantees the kill. Echo and Pharah I'm going to class as one because they are genuinely so similar for someone like Freya. You want to get as close as you can to these characters. It's the same for the Pharah and the Echo. All 3 of you have projectiles and it's easier to hit everything when you're in their face. But the only difference is Freya counters Echo and Pharah. You shouldn't be losing a fight, especially since Echo and Pharah both have 225 HP, so you can two-shot them out of the sky and they don't have any form of self-heal. So if you're in their face, there's no excuse to not two-shot them. Sierra. Although you can one-shot her drone with a take aim, if you're ever in like a 1v1 situation with a Sierra, or if she's using the drone strictly to jump you and fight you, be careful because the drone has a big hitbox, and there have been multiple times where I've even hit the drone with my bowler, let alone my take aim, while I've been trying to hit her. So it has a fat hitbox, just gotta be careful not to hit that. Sombra. Use your Revdro crossbow to find invisible Sombras instead of trying to take aim. Take aim is just one big shot and it doesn't allow you to use your crossbow for a little bit. So just spam those crossbow shots instead and you'll be able to find her, and after she's out of invis for that like second, that's when you take aim. Anna. Watch for the scoreboard later into the game because the sniper perk that Anna has absolutely counters you. It's just good to know when she has it so you can play around it effectively. Baptiste. Don't be afraid to bowler when he has immo, or even if he's placed the immo. You'll still do so much damage through it, you'll destroy it along with it. Jetpack Cat. This character has a tiny hitbox, but you two-shot them for the most part unless they're using their healing ability. But essentially, similar to Pharah or Echo, you want to get as close as possible to her, use your updraft, maybe even get double updraft pack so you can catch up to her and two-shot her out of the sky. I guess a bonus tip though for Jetpack Cat is that if you're ult tracking and you know that they have the catnap, whatever it's called, you can bowler to either save a teammate from being tethered by the cat, or you can save yourself from being tethered by the cat. Lucio. Try to aim at Lucio when he's wall riding. If you aim slightly above and in front of him, your arrows are practically guaranteed to hit. It's another character that you do two-shot, but the reason I say aim above is because when Lucio does wall ride and jump, it makes him go up and your arrows will have a much easier time hitting him. Zen. This is another character that gets scared of being shot, like I mentioned earlier. Not only did I mention certain characters being afraid of being hit by bolts, I also mentioned ult tracking, and Zen is a combination of both of these. When you know that Zen has Transcendence, try to combo scare him into using the Transcendence to save himself. Now Zen has 250 HP, so you don't actually two-shot him, but I guarantee you if you land a combo on a Zen with 2 bolts, he's gonna pop Transcendence to save himself, and that's what you want. Kiriko and Lifeweaver have something obvious where you want to wait for Suzu before you bowler, or wait for Life Grip before you bowler. But one extra thing for Kiri is that one take aim shot on her 9 out of 10 times will bait out either TP or Suzu. Kiri being Kiri, the only way to kill her is after these cooldowns are both gone, so all it takes is one shot. Mercy. Practice your air shots, again in workshop codes, but the perfect time to air shot her is right after she uses Guardian Angel. That little second of downtime that Mercy has after flying to someone, whether she goes straight into the sky or straight forward, she's relatively still, and that's the perfect time to shoot her. The time where you don't want to shoot her is during Valkyrie. You're crazy if you shoot her in Valkyrie. Just completely ignore her. Moira, this is the final character where you want to combo them after they use an ability. Similar to Anran and Reaper, as I mentioned, Moira has Fade. So try to only use one take aim, no dashes, just try to use one take aim and spam her with crossbow shots until she fades, and that's when you want to use everything on her. Illari, although I generally recommend doing a similar stance to what I said about Emre, where you can shoot an ulting Illari out of the sky, it's a lot harder because she's a lot faster. So my general tip for Illari will be to use the explosive radius of your bolts to hit pylon around corners where you can't directly reach it. Juno, fairly general one for Juno, but watch out for pulsar torpedoes because the auto aim on your already squishy health pool is going to be detrimental. Mizuki is a really interesting one. If you track Mizuki's Katashiro return, because if you shoot a Mizuki when he's in his dash form, you can then, instead of comboing the Mizuki while he's in that form, you should shoot him once and then immediately flick to wherever his return doll is and spam the rest of your bolts onto there, because after Mizuki gets shot once, he's going to panic and he's going to teleport back to his doll where your pre-fired bolts already are and he will explode. Finally, we have Wuyang. For Wuyang, for whatever reason is trying to airshot you, you can dodge really easily by dashing before it hits. His water orbs do a lot of damage, let me not lie, they do over 100 something damage with each one. So if you hear it get close to you, or if you're looking at it visually, you should absolutely dash right before it's about to hit you. That bro is like a shulker from Minecraft. Brig is the exact same as Reinhardt. You can shoot the shield, and if she's walking towards you, it's gonna hit her. Just spam Brig shield, you'll get a lot of value. Finally, Xion was released while I was still editing this video, so I don't have too much to say on her. I find it really easy to hit her, even though she has a small hitbox, during certain moments of her abilities. If she's flying in the sky with her motorbike, she stays still, and while she uses her ult, when she dashes, she stays still between each dash, and those are the little moments where you can shoot her. I don't show them properly in these clips because, like I said, I haven't played enough yet, but I hope that helps. Anyway, if any of these tips helped you, I'd really appreciate a like or a sub on the channel. I'm trying to grow, I'm trying to do Freja only content, and the support has been great so far, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll have a link to all my other guides in the description if you're interested.